Hey guys, welcome to my channel. It is DizzySlay MUA. Today we get to work with a model. So as you see, I'm hopping right in. I'm starting by prepping her brows. This is just the setting powder so that it gets rid of any oils and makes for a smooth, easy application for me. Alright, after I brush her brows into place, I'm going in with the Kiss New York Pro pencil. This is their fine precision pencil in deep dark brown. So as you see, I'm just tracing the outline of her brows. I'm going right on top of those hairs. She already has a nice shape. I honestly don't have to do much. So I'm just shaping it on the outside. And once I'm done that, I'm just going to go through the brow lightly with a couple strokes because I don't want them too dark. Alright, and now when I get to the front of her brows, I'm just going to take it straight up so it mimics actual brow hairs. And those lines aren't going to be super close to each other. I'm just filling in lightly, that's all. Alright, I don't think you guys need to see me do the whole other brow, but that's it. Now I'm taking the concealer. I am using Shape Tape concealer. This is 42S. And I mixed it with 47S. So I like to use concealer for most of the brow. And you see I'm shaping it. I think this is the Max Luxe concealer brush. Yeah, Cake by Max, the Max Luxe concealer brush. And then I'm bringing it down. And in the very front, I like to use the foundation color, because I don't like when it leaves a super light spot in the front with just concealer. And then on top of the brow, I'm using her foundation color as well. I do this for all of my clients, for myself as well, so it's not really light all the way around. And then I'm going to go into the front of her brow with the concealer so that when we go to highlight her forehead, that part is like basically done. Okay, and now I'm going to take a fluffy brush. This is by Ruby Kisses, and I'm just lightly blending out that concealer and foundation. That when we go to put on our other makeup, it's smooth and easy to blend with. Alright, we're getting to the fun part. I am using the Anastasia Beverly Hills Eye Primer. It comes in a little silver tube, and I love it. It's lightweight. And it makes the base super light because we're using some bright colors. Now this is the P. Louise Secret Center palette, I think. Hold on, let me find out what it is. Okay, it is the Secret Center palette by P. Louise. And I'm gonna show you guys how I put my eyeshadow on this eye. I felt like the angle was better. So I'm going in with that dark purple. It's called Addicted. And honestly, it was just like really patchy. I don't know why. The other colors in this palette didn't act like that. So as you see, I keep like packing it on and packing it on. Because you know, like as I'm gonna blend out. Like you see right there, it's super patchy. I didn't like that. So I'm just applying it as much as I can. Putting this purple all in the crease. And now in the front of the eye, I'm gonna add this like bright pink. I love it. It's like a baby pink. I don't know, I feel like it's a Nikki pink, honestly. It's called Idolize. So I'm putting that right in front of the purple, making sure that it gets on top of it so that they blend nicely together. Now I'm taking a little fluffier brush and I'm blending out that purple. I'm tapping it into Addicted and then just going over the edge so it's not as harsh. It wasn't the color that I wanted. I don't know why. So I went in with like this turquoise in the palette, and it's called Affair. So I used Affair to buff that out. It still wasn't like the light blue that I was going for. Like it was cute. Well, you know, it's not turquoise, it's teal. Anyway, I used that to buff it out, and then I went over top of that with the yellow called Climax. So that brightened it up even more for me, and I ended up liking this blend because we are going for a super colorful look. Alright, and for me to cut the crease, I like to use the P. Louise Blank Canvas base, and I mix that with the Anastasia, with the ABH primer, and it gives me a nice consistency. So I don't draw the line for my cut crease. I actually tap it. I pack on a whole bunch of the product. That way it gives me that straight line. If you don't have a lot of product on your brush, that line will not be straight. It's gonna come off crooked. It's gonna be missing in spots. So literally like do a couple pats for that crease and then dip it right back in. And then I pull the remainder down onto the lid. Alright, I'm just making sure that these cut creases are just about even, or as even as I can get them. You know, I try not to stress myself out too much about them, because if I go in trying to do too much, want to be too high. So now I'm taking another fluffy brush and I'm just patting this primer down to make sure that it's all even and that it's just about dry so that I can go in with my eyeshadow. Okay, now on the outer part of the eye, I'm taking a smaller fluffy brush and I'm bringing Addicted onto my lid. You see I'm doing the same thing for this eye so you can see it a little bit better. I'm bringing it down and I like to bring it in on an angle. I feel like it makes it look blended a little better. Now in the front of the eye, I'm adding a nice shimmer pigment. This one is called Icy. And it is by DizzySlay House. Yes, shop me. So this is Icy and it is a white, super shiny pigment. And I like to use these underneath my glitters. So this is what I'm putting down first. And then right here, this pigment is like a purpley blue pink. It's really gorgeous. This one's called Crystal, so I'm adding that to the second part. Look at her. Yes, sis. Okay, time for the glitter. This is the Kiss Lash Glue, and I like to do dots of glue. I don't do like a whole line of glue. I don't cover the whole lid, so I'll do dots, and then I take a small brush and I just pat it over the lid so that I know it's basically everywhere. This makes it nice and flat, and like I said, so you're not using so much glue. And with that same brush, I'm picking up the glitter, tapping off any excess, and then applying it. Putting glitter on this way helps minimize fallout. I barely get fallout when I apply glitter, since I've been applying glitter like this. So this glitter is called Prom Queen, also by DizzySlay House. And I apply the glitter on an angle when I'm using more than one color. So you see under that I'm using like a lilac color. This is called Finesse. So I'm adding this light purple glitter to the tail end and making sure that some of it does go on top of the eyeshadow, because we don't want to just see a clean stop. And when I'm done, I'm just going to take that brush and pat over everything to make sure that the glitter is flat, to make sure there's no pieces sticking up, because we don't want it to fall off. Okay, I am now doing her wing. Now her wing is going to be super thick, only because we are going to be adding rhinestones to it. So when I add rhinestones to a liner, the liner has to be thick so that way we have space for the rhinestones and then space for the lash at the bottom. So this is just showing you guys how I do my wing liner. This is the NYX, the NYX Epic Wear liquid liner. This is in the color black. I'm using a small disposable brush. That's what I use for my clients when I do eyeliner. So that's what you guys are seeing here. Now, I'm not a fan of the finish of this NYX formula, so I'm using the Tarte, I think it's called Tarteist black eyeliner, which comes out in a tube, so I use it with this angled brush, and I just fill it in. See the difference a liner makes? I really like it. A lot of my clients don't get liners, but when they do, oh, they do. All right, now it's time to add the rhinestones. So I don't put a whole bunch of dots on when I do the rhinestones. I work it in sections because once that glue dries, I cannot see it. So I will do 3 dots, sometimes 4, depending on what I'm doing. So for this liner, I'm doing 3 dots of glue, and then I'm taking this little stick for my stones and I'm applying them. So these ones are pretty big, and then in the very front I'm going to use one that's slightly smaller because, like I said, we still have to make sure that we have room for our lashes at the bottom. And because I'm extra, I was like, it's missing something. So I had 2 cute little teeny tiny rhinestones right there at the top of her crease, and I loved it. It added a great little accent for me. Alright, now we're moving on to the face. I am not one of those makeup artists that puts primer on with a brush. I'm sorry. I like to rub it in. I like this primer to be a part of your skin. So this is how I do it. This is the Urban Decay Face Grip Primer. And I like to put this on, like, you know, like the outside of the face. And then on the inside, I go in with the Derma Blend. I think this is the Insta Jelly, because that's, you know, where we have the tendency to get more oily at. So I like to add that to the T-zone, right there in the middle of the face and the, you know, forehead. Let that sit for a bit before you go in and add your foundation. So using my Real Technique brush, I'm adding in her foundation, and you can't even tell. Like, it's so crazy how this matches her perfectly. It literally looks like skin. So this foundation, this is Beauty Bakery, and her shade is 325N. And I'm just using this Real Technique brush, and I am just pushing this foundation in all over. Make sure you take it down your client's neck. You want everything to match up. Yeah, it's definitely looking like skin, and I'm obsessed with this. Just staring at it on the camera, I really love this. So she did have like a teeny tiny pimple, so I took that concealer that we used earlier, the Shape Tape, and a little fluffy brush, and I just blended that in right over it. Make sure that's nice and flat, and then I'm going in up there with our foundation, and that covers that right on up. And honestly, a lot of times for me, I don't even like do that with this foundation. I don't know, I find Beauty Bakery to be pretty full coverage, but I just wanted to make sure that this video was perfect. Okay, now we're going in with our Shape Tape. This is the 42S concealer, and I'm going to highlight the chin, now over top of the lip, down the nose, keep that nice and thin. We don't have to do way too much around our brows, because remember, we added that concealer there when we went to shape them. So it doesn't have to be super perfect towards the front of the brows. This color isn't that far off from her foundation, which I love. Oh, right here, I'm just cleaning up, making sure that you don't see any of that shadow that's past that liner. And then we're going to bring this down. And then right above that in the middle, I'm going to add an even lighter concealer just to brighten up under her eye a little bit. This is the 36S, and I find that these blend very nice. So after I put it under the eye, I'm just going to add it a little bit to the other spots that we highlighted, just so it's a little bit brighter, and it's all going to blend way better. So I love to use 2 different concealers when I blend. So taking a break from that, I'm going to let that sit. Okay, to contour the face, I'm using the Juvia's Place Shade Stick. I'm using the shade Namibia for her. I'm probably saying that wrong. I apologize. But this is the shade that I'm using for her. I actually depotted my stick so it was easier for me. So it's in a clear case. All the names are written on the bottom, so it's super easy for me to use. I don't have to open up each one. But yeah, with this Real Technique brush, the same one I used, well, you're gonna see me use it later. So I'm using this Real Technique brush. This is the 402, and this is what I'm using to apply the contour around the forehead and then to carve out those cheeks. Okay, after that's done, it is time to blend out our highlight. I am using that same foundation brush. I like to use that because I feel like it helps it blend. It still has a little bit of the foundation on it. It's nice and big and fluffy, so it works with the parts that I want it to work with. And so yeah, around that forehead, it's getting it good. And I go back and forth between that brush and then the smaller setting brush. You see? So the spots where I need that, that's what I'm going to use. And I'm honestly just pushing that concealer in. I'm not doing any swiping. It's patting motions. I'm just pushing it in, making sure everything's blended. And I start from the outside and then I work my way in. So you see I started on the outside of the forehead, and then when I got closer to the brows, that's when I switched. And then the same thing for the concealer under the eyes. I'm starting with the big brush for the outside, because I want all my colors to stay exactly where I put them. And then as I get closer to my eye, I'm going to switch to this smaller brush. Alright, now up under the eye, I'm using a beauty blender or a beauty sponge, whatever you'd like to call it, to make sure that under the eye is nice and flat, there's no creases. And this is what I'm going to do before I go in and set it. Look, I don't know what we was talking about, but we clearly was having fun. Alright, so now I'm using the Laura Mercier. This is the translucent honey setting powder. And I'm pushing that in right up under her eye, pushing it right into the skin. I love how it literally just like sucks up any dewy looks. Alright, it gives me a super nice matte finish. Oh my god, I cannot help but to use this under the eye. Alright, and now applying it to the other spots that we highlighted. So the chin, above our lip, and our forehead. And I'm going to let that sit there, and this is like a light bake. So while that happens, I'm going to start contouring her nose. I'm using that same shade stick from Juvia's to contour the nose. And you see I put the product just right there in the middle. Because it's a cream, you know, I know I can work with it and move it. So that's what I'm going to do now with this fluffy angled brush. Now, I didn't notice that my camera cut off on this part, but I ended up going over all the parts that we use those shade sticks with the Morphe 8R palette just to bronze up her face. And then I did use a black liner for under her eye. And now I'm going back into the P. Louise Addicted and adding that purple under that. So sorry, I had no idea. Now in the corner of the eye, I love to add a little shadow. It makes it look like blown out. I just feel like it makes the look complete. So this is in the Bolive Butte. This is the Beauty by Melissa palette. And I'm using that white. And I'm adding that right into the corner of her eye. Now this is Sis with lashes. I'm loving this look. Oh my god. Just got you guys looking at her. So I'm adding mascara. I use this small brush and put it on the mascara wand, and then I brush her actual lashes into the false lash. I love it better than using the little fake wands. I love the way that it coats the lash. It really makes hers blend with the regular lash. Alright, now I'm just adding a little blush. This is still from the Morphe 8R palette. My head is big. Oh no. Now to just shape her face a little bit more, I dip my sponge into the AC Cosmetics setting powder. Now I use a different powder because I feel as though the AC Cosmetics blends way better. So when I actually do go to blend this out, I'm not going to see a sharp line. It's not going to look ashy, whereas I find the Laura Mercier does that for me. So while that sits and bakes, I am now lining her lips. This is the Kiss New York Pro Luxury Intense Lip Liner. This is in dark brown. This is my favorite lip liner. And so I'm shaping it, and then I do, you know, bring some of that brown up onto the lip. So that makes for a really good blend. What is that beeping? Oh my god, that's annoying. Okay, so you see how our lip liner is? It's shaded a little bit on the lips, and then in the corners, I brought that in as well. Now, this is the Maybelline SuperStay Matte Ink. This is in the color Loyalist, so you gotta work fast with this. This dries super fast. So I'm going to apply it basically where I want it. And then I like to ask my client to just smack their lips so that it blends, you know, naturally perfect. Yeah, they did just what I wanted it to do. And now over top of this, I'm going in with the Crown Case. This is their Private Party Gloss. It's a nice light nude pink. So that's what I'm going to go in with over top of this, because I love a glossy lip. And I felt like this color just really complemented that Maybelline that we already had on there. So when you go and put the gloss, make sure you're going over the liner parts too. I didn't put the lipstick over the liner parts just because I just don't like to do that. I wish I had some super crazy reason as to why I didn't, but I don't. I just don't like to do that. So our gloss is going to go over top and bring everything together. And once that's done, we can go ahead and blend out that setting powder. See how it just does. Ew, not me walking in front of the camera. Tacky. Now I'm highlighting. I am using the Juvia's Place. This is the Nefertiti Highlighter. It's definitely one of my favorite highlighters, especially for my lighter clients. This adds a nice light golden pop for them. So you see I did the nose, and now I'm doing right above where we put our blush. She is just so stinking pretty. I cannot get over it. Alright, so now I'm done. I'm spraying the face with, this is Urban Decay All Nighter. And now I'm going in with another spray. This is the Ben I, the Final Seal. And this is in like a different bottle, so this is like a super spray. And then I use a fan just so that instantly dries. I don't want anything to move. I don't want to see any dots from spray. So I use this hand fan on all of my clients. Oh my god, look at her eyes. Oh my god. And this is it, guys. Thank you guys so much for watching this video. Don't forget to give me that thumbs up on a gang. It has been DizzySlay MUA. If you'd like to see more videos like this, please let me know down below. Something specific you'd like to see, let me know, and that's what I'm here for. But until then, I will see you guys next time.